أمر غريب فعلا.
My name's Sam and a very warm welcome to our second video in the series where we are watching Muslim scientists in Arabic, and we're using this just as a really nice way for us to learn Arabic in a conversational manner in the context of these really interesting cartoons. So let's just watch it all the way through together and we'll pick it apart as we go along.
إنه أمر غريب فعلا.
Okay, so the character of Hassan. We actually start with Hassan, and in this episode, there's going to be a lot of him. There's less dialogue than what there was in the previous video. And if you remember, just to kind of set the scene for this video, in the previous episode, we ended with Bara going over to Hassan and saying,
ما رأيك?
ما رأيك? Saying, what's your opinion? ما رأيك? That was how we ended the last video. So what does Hassan say? He says, إنه أمر غريب فعلا.
إنه أمر غريب فعلا.
He says, innahu. This inna plus hu is indeed it. Okay, indeed it is. Amrun, it is a matter. An amr is a matter. Amrun gharibun. Gharib, it means strange. Okay, gharib is strange. Fi'lan is very similar to saying jiddan, really, in this case. Saying, innahu amrun gharibun jiddan would be a very similar meaning. It just means, indeed, it is a very, very strange thing. Okay, so let's continue, inshallah.
أليس كذلك؟
Okay, so Bara says something really useful as well. أليس كذلك? This has a few different parts in it. It's a really useful expression for you to memorize. So just hear it a couple of times. أليس كذلك? Practice saying it. أليس كذلك?
أليس كذلك؟
So there's a few things going in here. There's an alif at the beginning. This is called alif al-istifham. This is as if something is a question, right? أليس, is it not? The verb laysa just means for something to not be the case. So is it not ka? Ka is a preposition meaning like. Is it not like ذلك? ذلك means that. Is it not like that? So, and this is very fusha as well. If your objectives in learning Arabic are to speak fusha fluently, this is really nice. It's also really good if you're a speaker of Ammiya and you want to fusha-ify your Arabic. Because like dialects of Arabic have very kind of colloquial ways of saying this. The Egyptians say things like mushkida instead of أليس كذلك. So remember أليس كذلك.
بلى شيء عجيب يحدث. العصا أراها الآن مستقيمة.
Bala. Okay, bala is like saying rather, or on the other hand, this thing. شيء يعجبني يحدث. I'm pretty sure it says that. Like, it sounds more like he says bala شيء عجبني يحدث. It sounds like عجبوني, but I can't quite make that make sense in the Arabic grammar. But it definitely fits as a sentence to say يعجبني. Okay, so bala rather. شيء, a thing. يعجبني. So يعجبني is from this verb أعجب, meaning to be kind of be interested in something, right? Lots of languages have this way of rather than saying I like something, you say that a thing pleases me, right? So the verb أعجب means to please something. It's like saying it pleases me. The Spanish say me gusta something. Something pleases me rather than I like it. So يعجبني, it pleases something. It pleases me. يحدث. يحدث, this verb حدث in the past tense, يحدث in the present, it means to happen or to occur. So a thing which interests me is happening, right? Okay, العصا. العصا, it means a stick, but it's a word that you will also see in the Qur'an as well. For example, Musa alayhi salam and his staff as well. He cast down his staff. The asa is this word. It can also, if you go to the gym in an Arabic country as well, they use the term asa for the bar, like the barbell. So it's actually a really useful word. Cool, so let's carry on. So he also says, أراها الآن مستقيمة. أراها. So أراها from the verb ra'a. أرى as in I see. Ha. I see her, referring to what? Have a think about it until we come to the end of this passage. Al-ana just means now, right? Al-ana. Typically, these kind of adverbs of time, like when you do things, they tend to have fathas on the end. Like if I do something today, we'll say al-yawma, today, or I do something tomorrow, ghadan. They tend to be mansub. Not always. An exception would be amsi, yesterday. But al-ana is one that has a fatha on the end because it's like that. Okay. And now I see it mustaqima. Now I see it mustaqim. What does mustaqim mean? Ihdina siratal mustaqim, right? It means straight. Okay, so he's saying rather a thing that interests me is happening. Al-asa, the stick. Araha al-ana. I see it now. Mustaqima. I see it now straight. So mustaqima, you notice, is feminine. Much like araha, I see it. right? So what we learn from this is that the word asa is a feminine word, right? Which is one that isn't necessarily easy to infer. So let's continue.
ثم أراها كأنها تنكسر عندما أغمس نصفها في الماء.
Okay, very nice. Okay, let's go back to that one. Okay, so thumma. Okay, so thumma means and then. Okay, araha, and then we saw araha in the previous sentence actually. Ka'annaha. We saw ka a second ago in alaysa kadhalik. So ka means like. Ka'annaha. The anna means that. So like that, ha it is. Tenkasir. Tenkasir is from a form 7 verb in kasara, which literally means to be diffracted, right, or to be bent, right, literally to be bent. But the term inkisar is a word that's used in science, I believe, to mean like diffraction. So yeah, it means that as well. So and then I see it as if it is bent. Okay. ثم أراها كأنها تنكسر. When what? عندما. عندما is just a way of saying when. It's a nice kind of generic way of saying when something happens. Okay, عندما أغمس نصفها في الماء. Okay, أغمس. I had to listen to أغمس a few times when I listened to it. Like even if you listen back to where Hassan says this, it sounds like he says أغمس. But غمس isn't a verb in the Arabic language that I'm familiar with. But غمس is. أغمس is, it means to dip something. Okay. So when أغمس, when I dip, نصفها, when I dip half of it. Nisf means a half. Half of it, the ha, as in the asa. Okay, because asa, as we learn, is feminine. Good. في what? في الماء. Okay. عندما أغمس نصفها في الماء.
لا بد من وجود تفسير لهذا.
Okay, لا بد. لا بد is a really nice way in Arabic of saying there must be. لا بد, it must. من وجودي. There must min wujud. The wujud, it means the presence of something. There must be tafsirin lihada. There must be a tafsir. Any guesses what a tafsir is? We know what a tafsir is. It's an explanation of something. Good. So la budda min wujudi tafsirin lihada. There must be an explanation lihada for this.
عن ماذا يتحدث؟ لا توجد لدي أدنى فكرة.
Okay, so I'll explain what both Bara and Saleh say. So Bara says عن ماذا يتحدث. He says عن about ماذا, about what يتحدث. About what is he speaking? What's he talking about? What's Hassan talking about? عن ماذا يتحدث. And Saleh replies لا توجد لدي أدنى فكرة. لا توجد is just a way of saying that there is not. لا توجد. لا توجد لدي. لدي is a way of saying I have. أدنى فكرة is an interesting kind of phrase here, right? أدنى, what does أدنى mean? Okay. So أدنى is used in the Qur'an to mean the lowest. Okay. So for example, when the Romans were defeated, في أدنى الأرض, in the lowest part of the earth. في أدنى الأرض. But in this case, أدنى فكرة, it means like the nearest idea. I don't have the slightest idea. And there is a connection between the word adna and dunya, by the way. The dunya is the nearest or the lowest part, and the adna, the dunya is like the near world, but the adna is the closest. So لا توجد لدي أدنى فكرة. I don't have the foggiest idea, is what Saleh means here.
إنها ظاهرة جديدة تشغلني. سأظل أفكر فيها حتى أجد لها حلاً.
Okay, very nice. So Hassan again, he says, إنها, indeed it is, ظاهرة جديدة. A ظاهرة, the verb ظهر literally means to come out, to become apparent, right? But ظاهرة means a phenomenon, a thing that they've discovered, right? جديدة, it's a new phenomenon, is why he's saying. إنها ظاهرة جديدة. It is a new phenomenon. تشغلني. So the verb اشتغل, which is probably more useful, it means for something to work. If something's working properly, يشتغل, you use the form 8 verb. But the form 1 that Hassan is using here, تشغلني, he's saying it's busying me. Okay, that it's indeed it is a new phenomenon, it is busying me. سأظل, so the verb ظل is one of the كان and sisters actually, and it means to continue doing something. So أظل أفكر فيها, I will continue to أفكر. أفكر from the verb fakkara. There's another form too, verb fakkara yufakkiru. Fi something means to think about something. So in English, we think about something, but in Arabic, they think in something. They say, ufakkiru fiha. They say, I think about it. Good, so I will continue to think about it until what? Hatta ajida laha hallan. Hatta, it turns the verb that's after it into a mansub. Okay, so just like in the hadith, where the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحبه لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. That none of you loves for your brother until none of you truly loves your brother until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. Okay, or أو كما قال, along those lines. But it's حتى يحبه, it's until he loves. And likewise, here we have حتى until أجد, until I find لها for it. Her, in this case, the feminine pronoun her, is not for the asa, it's for the zahira. It's not for the stick, it's for the phenomenon, okay? Until I find for it, hallan. A hal is a solution. Until I find for it, a hal.
سأضمها إلى ملحوظاتي الأخرى.
Okay, so what Hassan says next, just to round this off, is سأضمها إلى ملحوظاتي الأخرى. Good, so sa, this just means will. We've seen this a second ago with سأظل. But in this case, we have سأضم. This must be from the verb ضم يضم, which means to add something. So I will أضمها, I will add it. Okay. إلى ملحوظاتي. To ملحوظات are my notes. ملحوظاتي الأخرى, my other ملحوظات, my other notes. That is everything for this episode. What I'll do by popular request is I'm going to play the entire episode now as well, and you can have a look along and see how much of it you understand, inshallah.
إنه أمر غريب فعلا.
أليس كذلك؟
بلى، شيء عجيب يحدث. العصا أراها الآن مستقيمة، ثم أراها كأنها تنكسر عندما أغمس نصفها في الماء. لا بد من وجود تفسير لهذا.
عن ماذا يتحدث؟ لا توجد لدي أدنى فكرة.
إنها ظاهرة جديدة تشغلني. سأظل أفكر فيها حتى أجد لها حلاً. سأضمها إلى ملحوظاتي الأخرى.
So I want to say thank you all so much for watching the previous episode of this. It's one of the most popular videos that I've done recently. So I want to thank you all so much for enjoying these videos. And as a thank you, I want to give away the conversation simulations that I said I would build completely for free for you guys. So I've created a website for them. They'll be available completely for free for you guys. So there is a link in the description below. That's everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell as well. And I'll see you guys next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.